everyone, it's Stephanie from My Porch Prints, and today I'm going to begin a journal for December. You might have heard of like the December daily journals. This is going to be pretty much a lot like that, and we're going to be keeping track of the days of December between the 1st and the 31st. And it's going to be kind of a countdown to Christmas and beyond, and it's just going to chronicle just kind of what's happening throughout the month. Just little things, big things, you know, family visits, or even just, you know, what's in my coffee cup on a certain day. So let's go ahead and get started. We are going to primarily be using my Christmas Daily printable kit from my Etsy shop, and I will put a link to the things that we're using down below. And that kit comes with a lot of really just cute, fun pieces. It comes with these bookmarks and covers for your journal and tags. And then I've also got some other kits here too that we're going to be using from my Etsy shop. And again, all the links will be down below. And the Christmas Daily kit that I designed comes with these pages, and they have writing prompts on them. So you don't have to think about, what am I going to put in my journal on any particular day? You know, you can just look at these writing prompts, and that'll help inspire you to fill in your journal for that day. So to begin with, we're going to be making the cover for the journal. And I've got these cover pieces that come with the kit. And you don't have to use these, of course, if you have another idea for your cover, but these are just available, and I think I'm going to go ahead and use them for mine. So what I've got going on here is this is chipboard that I've cut, and I've actually been crafting on it. And we're going to use these for the covers, and they're 8.5 by 5.5 pre-cut pieces. I'll try to put a link to these below. I'm not sure if they still have them on Amazon or not. And then I cut a spine for my journal, and this is 1.5 inches across, and that'll become the spine. And then this is it's actually a hidden spine piece that I have as a freebie in my Facebook group. And again, links below if you want to join the Facebook group and get some freebies. Otherwise, if you're not on Facebook, you can purchase this for a small fee in my Etsy shop. And the thing about this template is it's set up for 4 signatures. 1, 2, 3, 4. And a signature, if you're new to journaling, is just a group of folded pages. So you put your pages together in whatever order you want them, and you can add things to them too, like cut out pieces and stuff. And then you just fold them, and that's a signature. And you usually want to do a few different signatures per book, because otherwise your book would just be this big, massive, like they call it alligator mouth when your pages open too big for your spine. So what the signatures do is they help keep your book from getting too big at the opening end. I don't know if that makes sense. It might later. But so yeah, today we're going to just make the cover. And to start with, I'm going to try something that I haven't done before. I'm going to clear a little space here. Okay, so I've added ink to the edges of my cover pieces on the front and the back. And now I'm going to go ahead and attach the spine to the cover. And I've got these like muslin fabric ribbon strips, and they just come on a roll like this. I'll see if I can find a link for you below, but if you're looking for it, it's just muslin fabric ribbon. And I am going to glue these on right here to attach the covers to the spine. And I think this is one of the pieces that come with the kit. I think I want to put this on the spine, so I'm going to try to space these out. Hopefully this all works according to plan so that that can fit in between. Keep that there for a reference maybe. And when you attach your spine to your covers, you usually want to leave just a little gap in between so that the book's able to fold open and close. And I'm just using Aleene's Clear Gel Tacky Glue for this. So I think I'm going to start by attaching it to the spine, and then I'll attach it to the covers. And I'm thinking maybe I should have smoothed out this glue a little bit so it doesn't show up so bad through the fabric, but that's okay. had an idea for maybe using another piece of red ribbon across here and to give it kind of, you know, like a candy cane stripe. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And I think I'm gonna use some puffy tape, some mounting tape for this to give it a little bit of dimension. There we go. Okay, so now I've got these cover pieces and I'm gonna go ahead and attach those, and I think I'm gonna round the corners. And I might be adding some glitter because nothing says Christmas like glitter. All right, and if you want to add a closure for your journal, now is a good time to do that. And I know it might be kind of hard to visualize, but you can add a piece of ribbon or something similar underneath the cover when you glue it down. And then you can use this to tie your book shut, and you can do it one on the front cover and then one on the back cover and then tie it into a bow, and that'll keep your book closed. But I don't think I'm going to do that for this one. I might regret that later. But I think I'll leave this just as it is. And this is called a bone folder, and it's nice for smoothing out things or creasing things. And I printed these covers on cardstock. I use 110-pound Pen+Gear cardstock, but you know, you can see kind of how it's not super thick. It says thick cardstock, but it's really not that thick. All right, and you can kind of see how it's going to work when it folds into a book. Too shabby. And while that's all drying, I'm going to go ahead and add a little cheesecloth and another one of these little labels to the front cover. And I think I'm going to add some of the numbers from the kit as well. Okay, so this kit comes with labels and these circle numbers, and these are for making a year, or you can use them however you want, but since it's 2021 this year, I'm going to be using the numbers for that. So now I just gotta decide kind of where I want to put them. Ooh, I think I have an idea. Okay, so this is a micro punch. It's a 1/16 punch, and I'll put a link to that below if I can. And it just punches a really small hole. Makes me think of when I got my ears pierced. Just like that. And I've got some bulb pins, B-U-L-B, and they have kind of a fat little circle at one end. And I thought it might be cute to dangle these if this works. Might be kind of cute. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a go. It may not work according to plan, but we'll try. So I'm gonna glue my cheesecloth down and glue my label on top of it. And we'll try to attach these numbers. There we go. Okay, like that. Yeah. So we're gonna let this dry a little bit, and then we will flip it over and we'll start using our hidden spine to attach our pages. Okay, so our cover is still a little tacky, but I think it's mostly dry. I think we can go ahead and work on the other side. So we're gonna go ahead and flip it over. And this is that hidden spine piece that we talked about. And I put a little note to myself that I wanna ink the edges of this. And because this spine is open, it might show through like on the cover and stuff. And any part that's white, I kinda wanna cover. So I'm gonna go ahead and ink the edges of this one. And then it's gonna fit right inside here, and it's gonna hold the pages into the book. So let's go ahead and do that. And once I ink the edges, I'm going to be punching out these holes. And I'm going to use my crocodile for that. And it's got a setting for a smaller hole punch. So I'm going to be using that to punch these holes. Okay, hopefully I've got the edges sufficiently inked so they won't show through the cracks in the spine. And now I'm gonna go ahead and punch out these holes as discussed. And I just wanted to mention, when I printed this design, I printed it on a piece of cardstock, and then I glued it to another piece of cardstock to reinforce it so that it's good and strong, because this is what's gonna hold the pages into the book, and it's gonna get a lot of wear and tear. So you wanna make sure it's a good strong piece. And we're just going to go ahead and punch these holes out. Okay, so our spine is ready to go. It's inked and we punched our holes out. And we're gonna go ahead and just kind of set this aside and talk about pages. So this kit comes with pages that have writing prompts for each day in December. And you can choose the order that you want to put them in. I went ahead and printed them front and back. And then of course they print with a white border around the edge, because most printers do that unless you have one that prints to the edge. So I went ahead and cut those off. And then I folded these into groups. And before I sew them into my journal, I just want to decide if I'm going to add more to it than just the pages. And I think I am. And then if you want to add anything else like envelopes or doilies or any other kind of decorative pieces, now's the time to kind of sandwich those in here. And then we'll go ahead and use our page guide here. This comes with the hidden spine, and we're going to punch these holes out and they coordinate with the holes on the spine. And we're going to use that as a guide to punch our page holes, and that'll make sure everything lines up nicely. Okay, so let's get started. Okay guys, we are starting on the pages for our Christmas journal, and I have pages from the Christmas Daily Kit here that I've folded in half, and then I've also added in some of our yummy Christmas cutouts. And how those work, let me scooch these out of the way for a minute, is that you take your background page, this piece, and I've printed it double-sided using the printable papers that come with the kit, and you stick it into your journal wherever you want it. And then you have this other piece that comes with it, and you fold it in the, boy, things are really getting crowded here. You fold it in the opposite direction, and what it does is kind of completes the picture, and then it gives it some dimension in your journal. And so that's how it's going to look when you open up that page. And then same thing over on this side. So I've inserted these into some of my signatures. And when I was planning out the order of my pages, there's really no right or wrong order, but I wanted to end with this page, the new year. So this will be for December 31st. And actually it might even be the day after, because I think I've got 32 pages. So that'll be the day after. So these 4 signatures, these 4 groups of folded pages will go into our journal. And we're gonna use that hidden spine that I talked about, and that's how we're going to attach these to the journal. So we're gonna take our first signature of pages, and before I do this, I'm going to make sure that this image matches up, because it can get really wonky if it's not completely where it's supposed to be. So I'm going to clamp my pages, and then I'm going to, I might even use some washi tape on this piece to kind of hold it in place. I think Michelle from Country Morning Creations suggested that, and that's a good idea. So let's go ahead and get our pages kind of lined up in order, and then we will punch our holes and we'll start attaching them to our spine. Okay, so I've taped this into place kind of where I want it, and this is temporary. The washi tape will peel off, and now I can punch my holes. And the clip is to keep the pages aligned while you're punching your holes, because if they slip, then they won't line up correctly. And I need to punch the holes in this guide piece. And what I'm going to do is just mark these in my signature, my group of folded pages, using a pencil. And you want to make sure you get it lined up so that it's not, you know, too far down or too far up. You want to really line it up with your book page here. And get right in the center crease. And that is where we'll punch our holes. Okay. And then we will sew these into this first set of holes, just right here. And we're going to do that using some bookbinding thread and needle. And you can buy bookbinding kits at craft stores or on Amazon. I'll put a link down below for those too. And I think before we sew these pages in, I'm going to go ahead and punch the holes for the rest of my signatures. And if you hear horrible crunching sounds in the background, that is my dog Toby chewing on a treat. Poor Toby, he had to go to the vet, and now he has a big old cone around his head. He looks a little forlorn, so I gave him a treat to keep him happy while I'm crafting. Okay, so I've got all the holes punched in my signatures, and I'm starting with my first one. And again, just make sure it's all right side up, that you didn't get any pages upside down, and that you have them in the order that you want the signatures. And then I'm going to take some thread. I've got this bookbinding kit that I got, and it's a little beat up because we use it a lot. We stick mustache sticker on it, and anyway, it's got needles and waxed thread and some other items, but I'm primarily interested in the needles and the thread today. And what I want to do is take some thread and measure 1, 2.5 usually is good enough. So 2.5 times the length of my book. And then I'm going to go ahead and just thread my needle. And these are nice and big, so they're not so hard on us with poor eyesight. And then I'm going to take my journal and I'm going to line this first signature of pages up with this first set of holes. And I'm going to come in from the back of this spine through this first hole here. So I'm pulling it up through this first middle hole, and I'm going to leave a little tail because that's what we're going to tie it off with. And then you can pick whether you want to go through the top or the bottom hole next. Doesn't really matter. I'm gonna go ahead and go through the top hole, just like that. And then I'm gonna come down and go through this, and make sure you're, oh gosh, I'm making a mess of this. Make sure that you're still on this first set of holes. You don't want to accidentally migrate to a different set. And go through this bottom hole. And then back out through the middle. There we go. And this is called a pamphlet stitch. It's pretty common for binding junk journals. And what you want to do is give this, put these tails on either side of this center piece right here, the center string, and then pull them nice and tight, and make sure that it's, you know, good and tight on this side. And then what we're gonna do is tie it in a knot. And I'm going to triple knot it because I've had these come undone, and that really ruins a journal. And then what I'm going to do is just cut these tails kind of like that, because we don't want them slipping out of the knot. So we want to leave a good little tail here. And then that is our first signature of pages, and it's tied into this spine. And then we're going to attach the spine to our cover. But we need to attach the rest of our signatures first. So that is what we're going to do. Okay, you guys, we have all 4 signatures sewn into our hidden spine piece. And now we're going to take these clips off. There we go. And we're gonna go ahead, actually, I think I'll use one of these clips right here. We're gonna go ahead and attach the spine into our cover. So here's our cover that we created. And we're gonna go ahead and just flip this over. And our spine is gonna go right in the middle. And we're going to glue each of these flaps to attach it. And you want to get plenty of glue on this because this is what's going to hold all your pages into your book. And what I want to do is align it with the spine. Just like this. And then I want to make sure that it folds. And then you want to let this dry before you try doing too much, because again, this is a really important part of your book. And while that's drying, normally I would put some kind of image here to cover this and to kind of just, I don't know if I have anything big enough really, but this is an example, to just kind of cover that spine flap. But I think for this one, I'm going to go ahead and just use some more muslin ribbon, fabric ribbon, and I'm going to use that to cover the flap piece. And I'm going to go ahead and try to smooth this glue out a little bit so it doesn't make a pattern on my fabric. And when you go to close your book, it probably is going to be really stiff, so you may need to do a little like wiggling on the spine here to kind of squeeze and move it around to get it to take the book shape. A little wiggle, 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 squeeze. There we go. And you'll notice that when you do that, this piece here will probably pop out a little bit, and that's actually good. We want that. That's how normal books usually work, so don't be afraid of that. Okay, so I thought since we have our pages put in and the journal's kind of pretty sturdy now, it might be fun to glitter up the cover a little bit. So I got some glitter glue and I'm gonna see if we can make it a little sparkly. Okay, so here's the finished cover. You can see that I went a little glitter crazy and it got a little messy, but this is what it looks like. And in the next segment of videos, we're going to be decorating the pages and getting this ready for Christmas. Okay, thanks for watching, guys.